We're in that day and age where unfortunately everyone should have a plan to
Yeah.
hightail it out. You don't have to be like the crazy prepper people that are just waiting for the disaster to happen.
Yeah.
You still live your lives, but on the side, you just got to be mentally aware of what could happen.
So what do you think about bugging out? Should people have a plan? I mean,
Everyone should have a plan. Like we're in that day and age where unfortunately everyone should have a plan to
Yeah.
hightail it out.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is, and that's reality, and you just have to accept it. We have something as simple as we each have a bug out bag. If it got to that point,
Yep.
to where it has food, it has water, shelter capabilities, some extra warm clothing, things like that, ammunition. We just earlier talked about when it comes to ammunition,
Yeah.
that stuff's heavy. So
22.
yeah, so 22 might be the way to go. But either way, we have it available, and then we every so often check it, update it, make sure food hasn't expired, stuff like
Nice.
that. Have a way to cook food if you need it.
Yeah.
Filters for water, things like that.
Yeah.
But the more you get, heavier it's going to be, right? It's
Right.
you got to think realistically, like what can you actually sustain as far as like if you're trekking up and over the mountains here.
Extra
And-
socks.
yeah, right. So raincoats, tarps, things like that. But yeah, unfortunately, we're just in that day and age where you have to be prepared somewhat, right?
Sure.
You don't have to be like the crazy prepper people that are just every day of their life is just waiting for the disaster to happen.
Yeah.
You still live your lives, right?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be living normally, but on the side, you just got to be mentally aware of what could happen.
Well, I used to think that was all just people being paranoid and almost like.
Well, there was a point in time where it was.
Yeah. Yeah. But now it's like, dude, if you don't have a plan, you're just unprepared. Before it kind of seemed a little wild to have that, but now it's like, man, I mean, and things change that quick.
It is fast.
If you could talk to yourself in like 2016, do you think you would believe we are where we are that fast?
No. 2016, definitely not. We had a stronger country back at that point, so I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been people here for a while. We didn't have completely solid borders or anything back then, but it's just the amount that's coming in nowadays is just astronomical and kind of terrifying if you really think about it. If
Yeah.
you stop and think about it, it's a scary thought to know what has infiltrated our country.
Right.
But yeah, no, going back then, that was 7 years ago. That's not that long ago, and I would have never thought that we'd be where we are today.
Right.
But here we are, and so, but you have to adapt. So times change, you have to change. Your mentality is the biggest thing. That you have to be mentally prepared for anything that will happen.
Right.
And then God forbid you have things like medications
Yeah.
that you're going to need to take with you that need to be refrigerated, stuff like that. It's not a fun thought, but the more prepared you are now, the better off you're going to be. Obviously, you never know when things are going to happen, how they're going to happen, what's going to happen. But if you just have a basic plan, right?
Yep.
And you can just sit down with somebody and just kind of create a small strategy, get together with the family, or if you have, extended family in the area, like, see what everyone can provide and to come up with, a solid plan. And
Yep.
people might think you're crazy, but
I
not
even-
when it happens.